What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, once again, we are back with some league racing, this time for the Singapore Grand Prix, and I think this is around like 11 or 12, so heading into this one, we only have a few races left in the season to go. Like I said in the previous league racing episode, I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks going to Europe, but I still have one more race in AOR before I have to go, so hopefully today and in the next week's race, I can get as many points for myself and also for Mercedes to kind of secure the positions in the championship that we've got at the moment. So we'll see how we go. Heading into Singapore, done a little bit of practice. Myself and Ryan, we usually jump in about an hour or two before the race starts, and I've got to say Ryan was massively quick, not only over one lap but also in the race as well. This is the fastest I've seen Ryan all season, and to be fair, it is his fastest track, his favourite track, so well, it's going to be hard to beat him, shall we say, unless we get pole position. But as you can see there on our flying lap, we got blocked by, I think, Formula Fish there, so unfortunately we lost our second lap. I would have liked to have gone again, because the first lap that I did was only a 37.9, and if you want to be competitive, you've got to be in the low 37s. Pole, or the front few positions on the grid today, will be in the 36s, so that's where we really need to be in. With 3 minutes to go in the session, we're only going to have one attempt at trying to get pole position today. So we've got it all up against us. We just got to go balls to the wall and see how we go. I mean, we're in P8 at the moment. If a few more people improve, we'll be outside the top 10 and maybe we could do something different with the strategy. But I think we're just going to go for it. We had to let a few people go through who were on flying laps. And we should be able to start our lap now. It's a little bit of a slow run to start our flying lap, but it should be fine. Through the final corner, open the DRS, 6th gear, and here we go, starting the lap. I think I got distracted there, that's why I weaved to the side. But anyway, through turn 1, 4th gear, try not to cut either of the corners on the entry or on the exit. Probably the easiest place to get a corner cutting warning, so watch out for that spot during the race. Up by a 10th and a half now as we go through the first sector of the Grand Prix. Nice exit onto this middle sector straight, 2/10 up now, and this is looking like quite a good lap. Singapore, it's a really long lap, and as the session goes on, it's always going to get faster and faster, so it was so crucial for me to improve this time right at the death here, because yeah, if we don't, we're in a lot of trouble. 4th gear through the middle sector now, get really up close to that wall there, and now coming up to what was known as the Singapore Sling. Down to 4th gear, try and tuck it into the left before you swing right, before you go under or over the Anderson Bridge and lead on to this mini back straight. Down to 1st gear, short shift back up into 2nd to minimize the wheel spin, up to 3rd, 4th. Still kind of short shifting there up as you get up into 5th gear. And now we're going to break at the 100-meter board, turn in. HO has gone pole with a 37.2. We're up by 3.5 tenths, maybe 4 tenths now as we come to the middle sector. Ryan's now dipped into the 36s, and based on our delta, we're only going to do like a low 35 here. So yeah, we really need to pull our finger out here as we close the lap. In general, I've been missing a few apexes, not been attacking curbs like I should be. Like those previous 2 corners back there, I really should have mounted the curbs more, and I've just given away too much time. Through the final corner, 6th gear, almost flat out through there, open the DRS, and across the line. I think it's P5 for this Singapore Grand Prix, some 6/10 away from New Zealand Ryan. So not only a bad qualifying lap time-wise, but position is not where you want to be. 5th place. It's going to be awfully tough to climb my way through the order. Overtaking at Singapore is quite difficult. I do have good pace, but just didn't get the lap in that I should have. So that's pretty disappointing. So here we are for the race now on the grid. I'm going to be doing the one-stop, going onto the super soft tyres around like lap 11 or 12. If you guys remember to AOR last season, I went on the softs, and that was the wrong strategy call because the tyre wear isn't really that harsh around here, and you can get away with running the 2 softer compounds. So here we go, ready for the start of this race. 5 red lights, and away we go for the Singapore Grand Prix. It looks like a decent start, not really losing any positions. Greek Master behind me is a long way back in P6, so we can take turn 1 and 2 pretty much uncontested now as Warden goes up the inside of HO, shoves him out a little bit wider now. That's a bit of an opportunity presenting itself for me. We're going to try and go around the outside now as we lead on to this DRS straight. There's a bit of contact though in the rear end, and now we're just pinballing between everyone. on this stuff and on this straight here, and we're dropping positions left, right, and center. Somehow we don't have any damage out of all that, which is absolutely crazy. The amount of cars that I just bounced off there, you would think for certain there would be damage, but thankfully it was all kind of rear end contact for me, and we somehow maintained P6. But yeah, what a crazy start. I was looking to get around the outside of HO. I can't tell if he came over into my line or maybe I just turned in too sharply. But either way, it's resulted in us dropping down to P6. So now we've got a lot of work to do. A lot of cars to overtake, and look at the gap that Ryan has opened up already in the opening lap. We've got Jetson F1 or Rain 96 in P2. And I don't know if he's got damage or if he's just nervous or just really lacking confidence in the race, but he is considerably slower than Ryan and is allowing him to pretty much run away with this race. Warden is in P3 trying to find a way around him, but he can't quite do that at the moment. Jared is now putting pressure on HO, and we're just having the watching brief here in P6. Warden goes up the inside of Jetson there up into the second sector split, and it's going to be side by side for them. Warden's going to go around the outside. He'll have the inside for the next left-hander. Let's hopefully see him get this move done, because we really need to clear this traffic. Jetson is really costing us all so much, and I think at this point the best we can get is second in this race as Jetson gets escorted wide of the hairpin, and now he is next on our hit list. So we'll apply the blowtorch. Jetson is really slow at this point of the Grand Prix, so we need to dispatch of him as soon as we possibly can, because even Jared, HO, and Warden are pulling away from Rain even within, I don't know, a lap of getting past. So yeah, I really don't know what's wrong with Rain here. He's really slow through the final corner. We get a nice run, and now we're going to go up the inside into turn 1. That should be the move done into P5. Jetson, it looks like, kind of cut turns 2 and 3 there. So he had to give the place back, and now it's going to be side by side as we run now into turn 5. Still a bit of contact, side by side, just like we were on the first lap, but we get the move done cleanly, and that is us up in a P5. So next up is Jared, but there's a bit of an air gap between the two of us. Jetson has hit the wall there on the inside, which is pretty unfortunate for him, but Greekmaster dives up the inside there into the middle sector split, and that's him up in a P6. So Greekmaster doing a really good job in this race. I think he's just been shadowing me, making any moves that I've been making, and his pace looks really strong. I think in practice he was doing like low 36s apparently, so that's pretty insane qualifying time for Oceania. But yeah, we'll probably have to keep a watching brief on Greekmaster. But now, focuses on Jared. We've managed to catch him by like 2 seconds in the last lap or two, and he now looks like he's probably struggling for tyre wear. Really kind of struggling with, I don't know, mid-corner, high-speed corners it seems, and now we're going to be in the slipstream. DRS is open, now we're going to dive for the inside, heading into turn number 8 here. I don't even know what turn number that is, I'm just making it up as I go along, but we overshoot the corner. Jared gets me back on the switchback, and he is back up in a P4. So really nice racing here, and Greekmaster with the watching brief right behind me as well. Like I said, I've got to keep an eye on him and make sure I don't lose too much time in trying to overtake Jared, because we can easily get sniped here by Greekmaster and the Saber behind. But Jared is so slow. We almost go round the outside and do the diagonal into the next right-hander. That's how slow he was. Bloody hell, that's crazy. We've been looking after our tyres really well. Jared as well, just like Jetson, gets a really bad run through the final corner. We just seem to be really strong through there. Sets us up really nicely for the start-finish straight. And there we go up the inside. Easy as you like. That is P4. But again, there is another huge air gap to the cars in front. So it's HO and Warden. I think the gap is like 4-5 seconds. So hopefully over the next few laps we can close that distance. Luckily this week me and Ryan did a lot of race practice. I found I was using the wrong setup and it was really bad for the tyres. I made an adjustment to that, and the race setup feels really good. Warden has actually lost the back end there, and HO has clipped the back of him, and now Warden is gone. He's got no front wing. Oh, he's got half a front wing, and he's, yeah, gonna have to do a 3-point or 10-point turn to get the car back in a straight line. And that is us now onto the podium, and HO is wounded in front of us. So as this this first stint of the race comes to a close, we were closing in on HO by an absolute mile, and at this point in the race I didn't know what was going on. I decided on lap 12 to do the undercut onto the super soft tyres, and guaranteed P2 now. Absolutely guaranteed. Even I knew even at this point of the race, I didn't know he had damage. I thought, yeah, just because of the sheer fact that we've got the undercut, we're going to get him, even if he pits on the next lap. The undercut is worth so much at this circuit. You have to stretch your ultra soft tyres quite far to make this strategy work, and if you can get the undercut on someone, it's so powerful. But here we go with HO rejoining on the circuit. He's actually quite close to us, so I don't think he's changed his front wing here. Through turn 1, we get the move done, and that is us up into effective P2 in this Grand Prix, with Jetson still yet, oh not Jetson, Drop Bear still yet to make his stop, who started on the super soft tyres. So there we go. We've carved our way through the traffic now, dropped to P6 after the opening lap, overtaken a lot of cars, and now all we have to do is get past Drop Bear, which my teammate Ryan has done. You can see the gap between us and Drop Bear is, 9 seconds, so that's absolutely crazy. Warden is coming in for another stop. Oh my goodness, he's having an absolute mare today. And he's out of the Grand Prix! Warden's out! I can't believe that. He's just nosedived himself into the wall, albeit it was a slow speed crash, but oh my goodness, he's out of the Grand Prix, and that's going to have huge implications for the championship. We're only in front of him by like a point or two, and if we get a podium today, that's really going to set us up well heading into the final few races of the season. Like I said, we're going to be away for 2 weeks, and that really does help our championship in getting P2. But meanwhile, we've caught Drop Bear. We closed in by 9 seconds in a few laps. So his super soft tyres really died off towards the end there. And now we finally have some track position. P2 in the Grand Prix. But the gap to Ryan, by the time we got into P2, was 12 seconds. So it took us over half the race to undo all that damage that was done in qualifying by not being where we should have been. And by the time we got there, it was too late to do anything about Ryan. But it's a Mercedes 1-2. Fully congratulations to Ryan. I don't think I really would have finished first anyway. Not unless I got track position and contained Ryan. Otherwise, he was probably going to win anyway. But 1-2 for us. I think HO just manages to finish third on the podium. But once again, Singapore is just a race of attrition. It's a lot like Monaco in the way that you've just got to keep circulating. You've really got to stay in the rhythm, because if you don't, the second you fall out of that rhythm, you're in the wall and your race is pretty much over. So yeah, for the most part, I just had to be so patient, so calm in getting back through the field. I knew that I had really good pace. I just had to play myself into the Grand Prix really well, and luck was on my side with both HO and Warden. If not for that, it would have been a pretty good tussle with those guys trying to get P2 back. I think I could have done it eventually, but it would have been fun to have the battle anyway. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. You guys will see the driver's standings up on screen in a moment. The gap is 66 points to Ryan. We're on 150. We will do the next race, which is in Austria, but that's going to be my final race for about 2 or 3 weeks before we return for the final 2 races, I'd say. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. And until the next one, I'll see you next time.